Okay, so in this lesson here, what we're going to do is work with a chord progression that's going to involve a little bit of strumming as well as some arpeggio picking patterns. Okay, so there's 4 chords in this. You want to be sure you know them. The first one is the G chord. Okay, and if you have access to the tabs, we have the chord charts there. So be sure that you're playing the G chord as I am in this video here. Okay, set up just like this. The second chord is the C add 9 chord. Basically from a G we bring the first and second finger down 1 string each, but keep the third and fourth fingers where they are. It's a pretty easy change from G down to C add 9. C add 9 is played from the 5th string down. Okay, and then we have a G over B chord. We're going to lift the first finger up a string to the 5th string, take the second finger off, and you play from the 5th string here. That's a G over B. And the final chord is the D major chord right here. Okay, and so what you're going to do, G, C add 9, G over B, and then D major. You probably want to just kind of warm up a little bit. If you've never played these chords before, it'll take more than just a few moments most likely, but if you're somewhat familiar with all of them or just a few of them, warm up into the chord changes, just the transitions, the movements. And you can do that one of 2 ways. You can just strum 1 time per chord in that exact order, or you could do what I call silent changing, which is just focusing all your attention on the movements here. See, what that does is that builds up that muscle memory so that your hands get a good feel for what it's like to change from one chord to the other in that particular order. Okay, so now what we're going to do with the first 3 chords, G, C add 9, and G over B, we're going to play a particular strum and arpeggio pattern. It's going to be pretty much the same for these first 3 chords. What we're going to do is pick the root note of G, which is the 6th string up here, followed by a down strum. Then we're going to pick up on the 1st string, up on the 2nd, down on the 3rd, and then up on the 2nd. Okay, so again, let me show you that slowly. We're at the G major chord here, played like this. We're playing root, down strum, up on the 1st, up on the 2nd, down on the 3rd, and up on the 2nd. Okay? Now we're going to move into the C add 9 chord, and we're really going to do the same thing, but the only thing that's changing is our root note for the C add 9 chord is the 3rd fret 5th string here. So you want to pick your root on the 5th string, followed by a down strum, and then still come up on the 1st, 2nd, down on the 3rd string, and up on the 2nd. Okay, one more time. Now we move into the G over B chord, the 3rd chord so far in this progression, just like this. You're going to play it exactly with the same pattern that you played the C add 9 just before. Here's your root note. It's still on the 5th string, but now you're holding the 2nd fret. Pick the root, down strum, up on the 1st, up on the 2nd, down on the 3rd, up on the 2nd. Okay? First 3 chords, G, C add 9, G over B. Okay, now your 4th chord, D, is going to slightly change up a little bit. We're going to use a couple of pull-offs. Now your D chord root note is the 4th string open. That guy right there. So you're set up in the D chord. You're going to pick the root, down strum, and then what you're going to do is where your 2nd finger is holding on the 1st string, you're going to come up on the 1st string but pull off to an open note. Just like that. Going to come up on the 2nd string, down on the 3rd string here where you're fretting on fret 2, hit it and pull off. Okay, now let me go through that again because that one's a little tricky, especially if you're starting out. Hopefully if you know the D chord already, you're familiar with it, maybe a little bit of this will make sense. If not, you have to go through other lessons and build your way up. But from the D, we pick the root note for string 4, strum it down from the 5th string, come up on the 1st string, pull off, come up on the 2nd string, down on the 3rd string, pull off. Okay, one more time slowly. Okay, so let me go through this slow from G to C add 9, G over B into the D. I'll play it at a slow tempo first, maybe just a couple of rounds, and then I'll play a little bit faster for you so you can see what the rhythmic feel of it all should be sounding like. as you get comfortable with that, you work your paces up incrementally. In other words, you don't try to just go from incredibly slow to like super fast. But at some point you can pick it up, and it almost has kind of a country feel to it, kind of a country western feel sort of. And just check it out here. 1, 2.